Singleton would like to share a few words.
Good morning. Great, and thank you for coming in on this this Zoom meeting that we have. We did one in the fall, and hopefully you got great information out of that. And those of you that are new to it, you know, we try not to give you too much early. And the second semester, we try to give you some additional information, and we're probably going to try to do this a little bit more often than just 1 or 2 times a year. But if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I mean, again, you've gone through half of the year, and I'm sure some things came up and you didn't think to ask those things. Ask them there, because we want to give you the best answers that we possibly can, or the best answers that's available. There'll be a lot of things covered here. One of the things coming up is the spring conference, and I'm sure they'll share with you some of how that needs to be addressed. But pay attention to that information. Ask questions. The staff is at your disposal. Don't wait until we have these meetings to ask questions also. Give us a call. If there's anything that's confusing, we want to make sure we help clarify those before it becomes a major issue. And again, know that just give us a call, and if we can help, don't hesitate to ask us. Now that you've been doing it for half a year, if you think there's value in our staff or some of our staff members coming out to your school and doing workshops there, we're available for that. Just make us aware. We're here at your disposal. I'm gonna turn it back over to Commissioner Boozer. If you got any questions of me, I'll answer those now. If not, then Commissioner Boozer, we'll turn it back to you.
Okay, thank you. We will get started. If you do have questions throughout the meeting, we do ask that you'll put those in the chat. If it's just something directly towards your school, we'll respond to it in the chat. But if it's something for the good of the group, then we will bring it to the attention of everyone. So if you do have questions, just simply put those in the chat. And of course, after the meeting, if you have any follow-up questions, please do not hesitate to reach out and contact us, just as Commissioner Singleton has shared. At this time, we will start with Cindy Drakeford.
Good morning. Can everyone hear me? This January, we went away from our traditional way of sanctioning events. We've always done a paper application for both the SCHSL sanctions and border state sanctions. But starting in January, we got rid of all of our paper forms, trying to do things a little bit more digitally to make it easier for everyone involved. The problem that I'm seeing with the new sanction application is that I believe principals either don't know that they have to sign those applications, or ADs aren't sending the notice to the principals, or aren't putting in the correct email address for principals. So our technology director, Keith, Mr. Warren, did a really quick video tutorial of the sanctioning process. I wanted to show you guys. It moves very fast, so we don't expect that you're going to learn all of this morning. But this video will also be on our website. If you ever have any questions, always call me. Hold on just a moment. I'll share my screen with you. Bear with me just one sec. Well, before I get to the video, I wanted to show you, if you could just look at my screen there, if you can see it. Can you guys see my screen?
Cindy, is not showing up.
It's not showing. Let's see what's going on. Share screen. Not letting me do it. There we go. Seeing that?
Yes.
Okay, great. So if you look in that left column, all of these say submitted for principal approval, and they're sitting there waiting to be approved, but principals haven't signed them yet. So the digital application allows your AD to complete the application, automatically send you an email, send the principal an email. All they have to do is create a digital signature. You can go right into that application, sign it, send it right. It automatically sends it back to me and sends a notice to the AD. So I just wanted to show you that, to show what I'm waiting on for for a lot of the applications. I'm going to show you that quick video.
Hi, this is Keith Warren with the High School League. This is an introduction to our new digital sanctioning system. Previously, the system was all done with Word documents, and now it's all housed in one system. This link will be available on our website under the sanctioning form. Now, this tutorial is going to be fairly quick, and I don't expect you to have a complete working knowledge of this when this video is over with. This is just to introduce you to how the system works. So when you click on that link, it's going to take you to our website, and if you have a login already, you can log in. Otherwise, you'll click the sign up button at the bottom, and this is just a typical website account creation process here. After you create it, you hit the back button and you actually sign in with that login that you just created. When you do, you're going to see at the very top, if you had an account already, all of your previous requests would be at the top. But since we don't have any, we're going to start one. And this is just typical information about your school. So you'll put in your name, and there's a lot of things you got to do: the start date, end date, what kind of event it is, what sport is it, and if it's a tournament you're going to be uploading the bracket, and you want to put your principal's name. And it's really important that you make sure the principal's email address is correct, that you don't have any typos, because once you submit this, the principal will get a link, and the principal will then have to sign off on it. So after you enter all this information about the actual event, you're going to be adding the schools that are participating in an event. And this is very important because all the schools have to be accredited by whatever state they're in, if they're out of state. So you're going to start adding the team. It's more typical information about, the team. What's the school name? Who's the contact at the school? You get an email address for that contact, and you want the address. And you just go through and answer these questions. And this is going to go fairly quickly. There you're going to pick out a state, and it's important you pick which association, because they will also have to approve this. And then you just repeat it. For how many teams you're going to have in it, you'll repeat this process. Just add another team, and it's just going to go fairly quickly again. But like I said, this is just typical information about the team that is participating. And you could have as many as you want. You just keep adding teams. When this gets to the end, you'll see at the bottom there's going to be a list of all the teams you added, and you can edit if you need to edit there. But when you're finished, you go to step 3 at the very bottom and just hit submit. And at that point, you can print this out if you like for your records, but you can always come back to it. But the principal is going to get an email, and this is what that email is going to look like. And it's going to give the principal a link to sign up for an account if he doesn't already have one. At the very bottom, it's going to give you information about that event, and then you can click on the link, which will take you to that exact event on the sanctioning system. And the principal, all you have to do is review it, make sure you're good with it, sign your name. I know this is not the most pretty signature in the world. That's how it works on the computer sometimes, and then you're done. At that point, we will get the sanctioning process rolling on our end. Any state associations will have to sign off on it, and then we will mark it as approved or rejected, or maybe we need some more information. But that is how the system works. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm folks that may not have come through as clear as it did on my computer. The most important thing to remember is if you have an event that needs to be sanctioned, go to this website, fill out the information, add all of the pertinent information from the teams to the association, upload your brackets and or non-member letters if necessary. You do have the ability to go back into that application and edit if you need to. Another thing that I'm noticing is that people have duplicate applications, because I think they start one and then they come back to it and they can't figure out how to edit it, and then they go back and create another one. Again, it is completely digital. So once you hit submit, it automatically sends that email to the principal. And then once the principal signs and hits submit, it automatically sends a notification to me. And then it gives me the ability to get approval from other state associations if need be. Again, this video will be online if you need it. Feel free to call me if you have questions or just want to walk through it the first time. And if you have any questions right now, I'd be happy to answer them. The only other thing I wanted to go over very quickly are financial forms. Just a reminder as we start basketball playoffs to complete the appropriate financial form for your round. If you're the host school, make sure you get those completed. Make sure you send a copy to me, as well as to the participating schools or visiting schools. We do not collect any funds in the playoffs and the early rounds, so I need a copy of the financial form, but we do not need any funds for that. Just make sure you send the share, if any, to the other school. Any questions about forms or sanctioning?
I'm not seeing any
That's all
questions.
for me.
Thank you, Cindy. All right, now we will start covering the second semester academic eligibility, and Charlie will be handling that.
Good morning. So let me get to, okay, so if you see the screen here, this is a caption from the bylaws doing for student eligibility. As many of you are entering your second semester, spring sports especially, you've got to make sure that you're going on what the student did first semester. And you see here under letter B, number 2, to be eligible second semester, student must meet one of the following conditions. They met first semester eligibility, meaning they were an eligible student for first semester. He or she must pass the equivalent of 4 half units during the first semester. So if I was eligible for sports in the fall, whether I played anything or did not play anything, if I was eligible in the fall, to be eligible in the spring, I must pass the equivalent of 4 half units. If I was not eligible in the fall for anything, whether I played or did not play, then I must pass the equivalent of 5 half units during the first semester. So the difference is that extra half unit, depending on whether or not you were eligible to participate in the fall. Now, again, can't stress it enough. Don't be confused by, well, they didn't play anything, so it didn't matter. No, it's did they have the academic standards necessary to be eligible had they wished to play something. Then we've got here in the box, it kind of walks you through it. If you're in a traditional or an AB block schedule where students are essentially getting 7 to 8 classes throughout the year, and your final grades and credits will be earned at the end of the year, you would go by the following example. If they were eligible for first semester, they must pass 4 subjects. If they were not eligible first semester, they pass 5 subjects. So if I'm in a traditional 8 period, 7 period, where all my credits are going to be given to me at the end of the year, then at the midway point, at the end of first semester, I would have to pass 4 subjects if I was eligible in the fall. If I wasn't eligible in the fall, I've got to pass 5 subjects. And then, of course, if you're in a traditional 4x4 block where credits were earned at the end of first semester for the transcript, then you would go by the actual units earned. So you would have to actually earn 2 units, because 4 half units is, add them together, becomes two full units. And that would be, again, if I was eligible for first semester. If I wasn't eligible for first semester, again, that becomes 2.5 units. Of course, they all would still have to meet the requirement of the overall passing average. So I could essentially pass those 4 units. If I'm in an 8 period traditional schedule, I passed 4 classes, I was eligible for the fall. But when you add and average my overall grades, I end up with a 59. Therefore, I would not be considered having an overall passing average. So that standard is still there. Amy, are there any questions on that in the chat right now?
No, we do not have any questions.
Again, this is all, you can refer to all this in your bylaws. It's on page 5 in the bylaws under academic requirements. And then you can be found right on our website. And just as a reminder that students can use credit recovery for first semester grades. And it spells it out right here under number 8. And they have until the 2nd Monday in March, which this year that date is March the 14th. So they have until March the 14th to get the credit recovery. Now, don't be confused. Credit recovery is you're doing credit recovery for a class that you took in the first semester. It's not I started and established a new class after first semester was over because I wanted to get that extra credit because I didn't have enough. To get credit for that semester, the transcript would reflect everything came in first semester, and your transcript would reflect credit recovery being to the first semester, and we extend you until the second Monday in March. They're not eligible to play until they get through that second Monday in March, or they have completed that credit recovery class. Once you are going in, I'm going to show you here in Planet HS your semester setup. Hopefully some of you have already figured this out as you've moved through. Let me just do a trying to think of a school I can use that. I want to use just Dreher High School. I'm not going to show you anybody's information here. So when we go to your eligibility transfers here, you're going to go to your main page, click on your eligibility transfers. Of course, this is where you fill all your transfer paperwork out and your eligibility. I'm going to click. As soon as it loads, we'll get there. Amy, any questions in the chat while we're waiting for this to go?
No, we still do not have any questions.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to go to manage semester setup. And we're going to go to the 21-22 spring semester. And you see here, Coach Jarvis is all on top of this right now. He has got everything put in all ready for the spring. So if it was not in, you would have to actually go in. And now you're not going to be able to see these in your eligibility. So unless you have all this information entered. So like for instance here, lacrosse male, if I go to Dreher High School's eligibility sheet for second semester, it's not going to show me an option for lacrosse. The reason it's not going to show me an option for lacrosse is because I didn't put any information in here to be able to save my semester configuration. So to get that roster, I'm going to have to go and set this information up first. And just for future reference, and we've had some veteran ADs call this year and ask these questions, you know, basketball and wrestling change over at the end of the first semester. And you could have students who become eligible once first semester ends, and then you have to go in and add them to eligibility. Well, you can't add them into eligibility under the fall semester because they're not eligible for fall semester. So you have to go into your spring semester, which requires you to go in and set up your basketball, whichever boys or girls, your team, and you're going to put all the same information in you put in for the fall, you know, the first contest, first preseason tournament, or the same for wrestling. And then you would edit or save that semester configuration. Now, you need to make sure that when you go to your eligibility piece, that you have chosen second semester and the correct year to put that information in. So if I went to manage my eligibility at Dreher High School, I see here that I've got my 2021-22, which is this year, obviously spring semester. And then I've got all those sports that we have that Coach Jarvis has gone in and put in already for the information. Again, you don't see boys lacrosse here. They don't offer boys lacrosse there, but if they were to offer boys lacrosse, he would have to go back to that semester setup and configure it. Of course, here, this is where I'm going to toggle back and forth. I can go back to fall semester, and athletes that you have in your system should be updating fairly automatically once you've put them in there. Any questions on Planet HS or the academic eligibility piece that we've covered here in this short time?
There are still no questions, so.
Okay, great. So if you do have any questions or you run across a moment that you just are having a hard time seeing something, feel free to contact our office. You can contact any one of us commissioners, and we'll be happy to help you best we can through that process. And of course, we're always here to help. So thank you. And again, if you need anything, please do not hesitate to pick up the phone and call us. I'm going to pass it back over to Ms. Boozer.
All right, thanks, Charlie. Thanks for going over that. I know that's helpful to our athletic directors because they're changing over into the spring semester. This time we'll have Danny with sportsmanship.
Thank you, Amy. If an athlete in your school is ejected for any reason, it is important that you get a school report to me as soon as possible. If an athlete is ejected, they are not allowed to participate in any contests until we have cleared them. So in your AD notebook, of course, you can go to the ejection form and complete that, and it'll come directly to me with your school report. If there's video to add, please add it at that point on that same form. If for some reason you're having problems getting it to upload, if you would send it on a separate email or give me a call so that we can walk you through making sure that we get any necessary video. But if an athlete is ejected, they are not to participate until they have been cleared here at the office. Couple of other areas I want to make sure I mention why I have you today. One is the Sportsmanship Awards that comes from our office. There are 2 levels. One is the banner level, the other is the certificate level. All forms are due, the deadline is March the 1st. So make sure that you get that information into our office before March the 1st. In your AD notebook on pages 16 and 17, there's information concerning the awards. But if you need additional information, don't hesitate to give me a call. Also coming up is a great opportunity for the student leaders within your school, the National Federation Leadership Summit. This summer, there will be some information in the Tuesday News tomorrow, as well as on our website concerning the National Leadership Summit, and we would like to have our best represented at the national level. And I'm going to turn it back over to Amy if there are no questions.
Okay, thanks, Danny. I appreciate that. And again, he talked about those sportsmanship awards. So just want to make sure if any of your schools have been doing community service and so forth, that we're getting that information submitted to us. We do like to celebrate our schools that are showing good sportsmanship throughout the year and hope that we're able to give out lots of certificates and even the banner. We weren't able to do that last year. So just a few things in closing up. We try to have these meetings. We try to be mindful of your time and just share important information that you need to know and then get you on your way for your day. But just closing off with some reminders. We are starting basketball playoffs tomorrow. And then, of course, from there, we'll be heading into spring sports playoffs. And just want to remind you with reporting playoff scores, we cannot update our brackets until we hear from the schools, you know, the winners of the contest. And we don't just go based off of what we typically see in social media. We like to get it from the schools that we know it's accurate. So reporting playoff scores, you are to email those to Jan here at our office. So you would just simply email your scores to Jan here in the office and she'll get those updated, but that does help with the brackets. You can email them after your contest. A lot of times she is checking her email and updating brackets the night after contest. And then of course, first thing in the morning. So that would help us out tremendously as we are entering basketball playoffs. And then later in the spring, we'll be in those playoffs as well. Another piece is the SCHSL online directory. And we've been talking to you all about this online directory since the beginning of school. And it's very important that you make sure you go and you check your school's directory. We're starting spring sports. Some of you may not have had spring sport coaches set. So you might have still been looking for some of those coaches. So getting them added to the directory is helpful. It's helpful for our office. It's also helpful for the membership if they need to reach out and communicate with coaches and so forth. But just make sure you check that. And there are some that with the online directory, I've been going through and we have all the coaches listed. We have the principal listed, but the athletic director did not put their information in. So you might want to check, make sure the athletic director, that your information is in there, make sure your principal's information is in there. Again, this is how we email out to the membership, is using this directory. So if you're not receiving emails, that may be part of the reason why. Also on the online directory, there is a social media link to where you can make sure you have your school's official social media link account. Sometimes you'll have students in your schools that set up other social media links. So we just want to make sure that we do have the school's official link, as we do tag the schools in that information a lot. And then Tuesday News, you receive that every Tuesday afternoon. Just want to remind you that that is full of pertinent information, things that are happening right now. Most of Tuesday News is going to have active links, so you can click on those active links. It'll take you directly to a form you need to fill out. I know Danny was talking about the national leadership. That's going to be in this upcoming Tuesday News. We're going to have a middle school leadership summit that'll be coming out as well. So there are active links within that Tuesday News that you can click on and easily access a lot of information. All right, we have the Schsl conference coming up, and we all know at that conference we do the legislative assembly. And as you can remember from the classification meetings, there are a lot of proposed bylaw and constitutional changes. So just make sure you have reviewed those, make sure your region has reviewed it. And as a region, you all know, how you're voting for that constitutional or bylaw change. So the March meeting is a very important meeting as far as rules and so forth with the bylaws and constitution that govern our body. And then also want to share two last things. We have the Scholar Athlete Award. Those are due or to be submitted to our office March 15th. The Scholar Athlete Award is for seniors. And that is going to be for seniors who have lettered in 2 sports for at least 1 season, or in 1 sport for at least 2 seasons during their academic career. So during their academic career, they should have outstanding citizenship and sportsmanship must be exhibited. And the selections must have achieved at least a 3.5 GPA or higher. And those grades are just cumulative from the first semester of their senior year. So a 3.5 or higher. And then again, those need to be submitted to our office by March 15th. There is a form where you will put in the students' names in your school that are eligible for that. And then we also started a multi-sport season athlete. So this can be for any grade level, and it is to recognize student athletes in a multi-sport recognition program. This is considered, I guess, the double threat award, and nominees must meet the following criteria. They must have lettered in 2 varsity sports in separate seasons during the school year. So we also have that multi-sport season athlete. Some of those you may be able to submit now. Some of the multi-sport athletes, you may have to wait until spring sports are over. But again, if you do have athletes that meet either of these, we do want to get those submitted. The Scholar Athlete does have a due date of March 15th. There is not a due date for the multi-sport season athlete award. So like I said, I know a lot of those will not conclude until May when we finish out spring sports. But just wanted to share that information. I hope everything that we have shared today has been beneficial. And just checking the chat, is there anything left in there that we need to cover? Let's see. Keith, if you are on here, do you have the directory link that we can put in the chat?
Yes, I'll put that in there.
Okay, that'd be great. And then if you're not receiving Tuesday News, you need to check your online school directory and make sure that your email address is included in that directory. If it's not, if you're not included in there as an athletic director or a principal, then Tuesday News, you're not going to be getting it. So please, when Keith puts that link in there, that's the link you want to use to check or to update your directory, I should say. So everyone can see the directory link is right there. And again, just go on and double check, see if you need to update coaches and so forth. And this will be the process moving forward. So in the summer, you'll have to do the same thing, updating your directory for the 2022-23 school year. So just want to be mindful of that as we have moved to this format. All right, outside of that, if we do not have any other questions, this will conclude our new principal and athletic director meeting. And if there's anything else that we can help you with, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. And we're looking forward to seeing you all in March at the Aaa Conference. So thank you
Amy.
all for attending today and hope you have a good day.